HoodCastAF, the ultimate horror, wrestling deathmatch and action figure podcast, starts now.
That's right. Welcome to another episode of HoodCastAF.
Oh man, you almost slipped there, dude.
I almost relapsed like I did on McFarlane's.
It's because it's a force of habit, so you know.
Yeah. This is a second episode. Everybody listening, tuning into Patreon. Thank you for subscribing.
Absolutely.
This is all going to be the hot topic going this week in wrestling talk right now on this Tex AF. We're going to talk AEW and all the backstage drama.
Are you a big CM Punk fan, Mike?
I have my moments. It's like sometimes you feel like a soda and sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
That's how I am with CM Punk.
You know what? I've never really been into the guy or his wrestling or his politics or any of that shit. I thought, like, you know, the whole pipe bomb thing was kind of cool in WWE, you know, when it did happen. And I also wasn't watching then, so I also didn't give a shit. But I like that he attacked everyone verbally, kind of, you know, with all the, you know, calling him out on all their shit. Sometimes that needs to happen.
I'm getting some reports from a reporter. Okay. No, I don't want to talk about Scott Colton right now. Fuck Scott Colton.
Yeah, so CM Punk, after he won the title for the second time, goes on the media scrum. I don't know why they call it a scrum. What the fuck's a scrum?
Because what I've heard on other, like, Colt Cabana's podcast, is he doesn't consider it a real press conference. It's all kind of a work conference. Yeah. Which I think it was supposed to be a work. Right. And then all of a sudden, CM Punk is just CM Punk and wants to be a punk.
Of course. He goes into business for himself. I mean, just like Adam Page did, you know, in front of him. But then Tony Khan just sits there and, like, lets it all happen because that's his cash cow, you know?
Yeah, dude. It's like, I felt bad for Tony Khan for a minute, man. During that press conference, as soon as CM Punk started, he's like, I don't want to fucking talk to you. I don't want to talk about Scott Colton. Are you his friend? Do you do improv comedy? Right. Then
he talks about the EVPs, which is, you know, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and talks a bunch of shit about them. They should have fucking knew.
They're unfit to run a Target toy section. But yeah, he went on his huge tirade of campaigning of. A lot of it was a lot of bashing of Colt Cabana, shoot name Scott Colton. If anybody, I'm pretty sure anybody listening right now is like, they're pretty up and up on it. But if not, we're going to get into it. So, and you can even tell when Jericho had his little thing, like Jericho told Tony Khan, you see him whisper him, he says something like some shit just went down or something like that backstage, you know, and a bunch of people, you could see it on the video. And that's what, you know, at first I thought this whole thing was a work. I'm like, oh, they're doing like some cool shit that you can't, you know, blurring the lines of, you know, wrestling and kayfabe. I thought, from what I was thinking, is they're trying to cash in on, like, the internet smart crowd who all thinks they know the inner workings of wrestling that are babbling. Like so you, like me, like, you know. So they're just working off of that gimmick, but then it just goes into left field from there, dude. It's like, fuck. Yeah, so I guess what had happened, well, it was unconfirmed reports. Like, you heard, like, Nick Jackson got either punched or knocked out, and then somebody got bit. So I have some multiple reports here that I'll read through. Like, these are just bullet points. The altercation went on for about 6 minutes with Brandon Cutler, Pat Buck, and Christopher Daniels among those trying to defuse the situation. Regarding the Punk/Steel side of the story, the Young Bucks approached Punk's locker room, and Punk wasn't answering the door after working a long, bloodied match, and he just finished with an emotional scrum. That sounds disgusting. The Bucks reportedly pounded on the door with some claiming that they kicked down the door. My question is, did they slap their leg when they kicked the door down? They all slapped at the same time. Three of them. And the door. I mean, the Bucks. To be honest, the Bucks weigh like what, $125, $150 each. Right. Like, it would take both Bucks to kick in the door. And I bet the door oversold it too. Yeah. I mean, but that's the one report. Somehow Kenny got bit in the scramble. Yeah, there's still more. So Ace Steel, he used to be a wrestler. I don't know if he still is, but he works backstage for AEW and does promotions and shit.
But Ace Steel's wife was in Punk's locker room as she was watching Larry the dog. Ace Steel told people that his wife being in the vicinity of the incident is what made him go ballistic. Omega reportedly did not seem nearly as upset initially, but when things got out of hand, he ended up getting bit by Ace Steel, not by the dog. And Omega
got his hair pulled and bit by Ace Steel.
See,
Omega's
story is that like when it all went down, he was trying to save the dog. Just like
he got bit by the dog. But I mean, what are the other reports?
There's also reports that Ace Steel, because of like his wife being in the room and holding CM Punk's dog Larry, he threw a chair that hit Nick Jackson in the eye and knocked him out cold.
Yeah, and he gave him a shiner too. From what I hear, is he got a shiner and knocked unconscious by a steel chair. Yeah,
there was reports that people have seen him at the airport with the shiner, but you never know. Then also, I guess CM Punk I don't know if he punched or knocked out Matt Jackson. I don't know. I don't know who. One of the Bucks got knocked out either by a chair or by a punch, and I don't think it's from CM Punk.
Nobody out.
Yeah, he can't knock anyone out.
It's like the only person that CM Punk can knock out is CM Punk when he gets hit in the face. Like when Teddy Hart bitch slapped him outside of a bar after an ROH show when he tried to say, "You did too many flips. You fucked up the show." But yeah, I'm like, I don't see CM Punk being able to knock anybody out. But the chair thing is like, did Ace Steel throw the chair? I'm like, Ace Steel was already in hot water for dropping an F-bomb on Wednesday TV.
Yeah, and a lot of people are because CM Punk is mad about, I guess the Elite, the Bucks, and Omega put Adam Page to go unscripted and shoot on CM Punk live on TV, and CM Punk wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, plus there was also some rumors that said that the reason why Colt Cabana no longer works for the company is because of CM Punk.
I mean, it's very possible, but
it's
also
no mystery. They had that lawsuit where CM Punk had to pay Colt Cabana a lot of fucking money for his defamation of WWE lawsuit.
Yeah. But also, what good is Colt Cabana? He's a comedy wrestler.
Right? Like, he's not even active there, and he's not even in the venues. So it's like when he got brought up at the press conference, you even see Tony's face. Tony's like, what the fuck? What?
Yeah. Why? And see, and I think I'll read something that what Dave Meltzer says about that, and he says that part was a work where he brings up Colt Cabana. But I don't know. But it's also funny that the fights that have been happening in AEW with the split locker room are all steamed from unscripted promos, where when they started this league, they wanted them, but now they can't handle what's being said.
No, yeah, because they got thin skin, dude. Like wrestlers these days seem to be bitchified. Like they don't have the thick skin. Like from what other reports on other podcasts like Booker T and Bubba Ray, when they were talking about this Scrum too themselves, they're like, if something happened like that back in the day, the two wrestlers would go and they would talk it out.
Yeah.
Backstage away from the crowds and the cameras and all that other shit. And then they would just go about being the regular thing. But this case, I heard the cops were called.
Apparently CM Punk was threatening to sue them, and but also if the Young Bucks are kicking down the door, they're not coming to talk. It's weird.
Yeah.
Whose side are you going to be on? I don't know. I'm not on anyone's side, but
my thing is they suspended Brandon Cutler. I'm like, what did Brandon Cutler do? He just walks around with a camera and a face mask on, hey guys, I'm Brandon Cutler. My wife makes.
I guess they just didn't want to sort it out, so they suspended everyone who was around. Oh shit!
I mean, that's just crazy shit because it's funny because AEW always does all this throwing the shade at WWE, trying to be better than WWE, and then it turns out they act like a bunch of fucking children.
Right.
Here's
what let's see. Dave Meltzer says. Dave says Punk's media scrum rant was intentional and practiced beforehand. It was apparent as he targeted Nick Houseman straight away when no question was asked. wanting to bury Colt Cabana. So wait, is that Colt Cabana's real name? Nick Hausman?
No, Nick Hausman was the guy that he was there as a journalist. But CM Punk went into the tirade of like, hey, you do improv comedy, you still talk to Colt Cabana or Scott Colton, and then it went on from there. And it was just like there was not a single question asked of Scott Colton. And then CM Punk just went on his tirade saying like, you know, the EVPs acted like children and said that, you know, he's the reason why dude isn't working for the company no more, which made no sense. It's like that question wasn't even asked. Like nobody even asked shit. He was just drinking his weird waters and eating his fucking pound cake.
So also Dave Meltzer noted that Punk talking about Hangman Adam Page not doing anything in the business is false. He says the pay-per-views headlined by Adam Page drew more than some of the ones Punk did. He adds that Page has been a key guy in the building and the company. And we saw that when on Dynamite after this, like Adam Page did wrestle and he wasn't cut from anything, you know?
No, I think he just stayed to his business and catering. Like that little meme picture of him just eating at the fucking table.
Dude, in his match with fucking Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, that Jericho said who was going to win before they wrestled. Yeah, it was a great match, though.
It was a great match. It's kind of a bummer that Adam Page didn't win.
Yeah.
So more than likely, we're probably going to look at like Moxley versus Bryan Danielson for the title. That's where my assumption is because they're sure as fuck not going to let Sammy Guevara beat fucking Darby Allin.
And yeah, it's going to be back to two ex-WWE guys, which I don't have a problem with. It's just what people say. But Dave Meltzer,
it just kind of sucks that like they have all this homegrown talent that's getting overshined by these guys they brought in from WWE. But the problem is, like Daniel Bryan's a professional. He's a fucking professional.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they have CM Punk, who's very unprofessional. You know.
Dude, and CM Punk seems like a fucking whiner baby who, if he doesn't get it his way, then he ain't doing it. You know, and like he's gonna bitch about it and cry about it and drink his Pepsis.
Yeah, or his whatever fucking waters it was.
Yeah. Dave Meltzer also says Punk had been a divisive figure and rubbing people off the wrong way in the locker room for a long time, telling guys not to do stuff that got them over and successful in the first place, preaching old business philosophies. He adds that some listened while others didn't, which made Punk very angry.
Oh, I can just picture him back there. You know what, dude? You know how you did that to get over and the crowd loves you and they pop? Well, I don't want you popping no more.
Right.
You shouldn't do that because it's going to outshine everything that I'm doing.
I would totally dude, I don't like you. Like, leave me alone.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, too, because I'm pretty sure a lot of that locker room there is like, they were doing fine building the company.
Yeah.
Like the biggest payday was when CM Punk returned. That first couple episodes of Rampage and Dynamite.
Look,
and then it was just like.
But there still is a problem with the Bucks. I'm not saying so much Kenny Omega, but the Bucks, man. They put themselves over fucking constantly, and I think they think that they're like a clique. They're like the new clique of this era, which they are, dude. They're prima donnas.
They are, literally. I mean, they do the Too Sweet. They're literally trying to be Shawn, Razor, and Nash.
Backstage, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear about all those stories of the clique backstage.
And them being EVPs, they shouldn't be active wrestlers. If you're an executive, you shouldn't be an active wrestler.
That's like a Hulk Hogan all over again. Stop doing that.
As soon as they introduced the Trios title, I knew the Elite was going to win it.
Yeah.
I was like, the Elite's going to win it. And I'm happy to see that they got stripped of that shit. And we have Death Triangle got it, which was a great match. That was awesome. One of the best friends matches I've seen ever. The best friends performing together. And it's good to see Danhausen not wrestling at all.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know what? I don't hate Danhausen or nothing like that, but I don't know what his purpose is.
I like his character. Like he's got the cool character gimmick or whatever. But it's just like, yeah, he's not that great of a wrestler, and he's a very small guy.
He's really little, yeah.
He's not scaring anybody. and this little curse thing. And I like how nobody sells it no more.
Dave Meltzer also adds that Tony Khan should have stopped Punk when he started burying his guys, saying the Bucks have done way more for the business, providing jobs than Punk ever did. And he's absolutely correct about that.
He tried, and then Punk cut him off. But then, like, when he actually went to bat as how much the Bucks did, it was after the scrum. It was an audio message that he called in, like he phoned in, that played before fucking Dynamite. And it was just like, well, he must be scared of Punk, dude. Punk must intimidate him.
Dude, I'm sure he does. Like, Punk's a talker, man. He'll keep talking to get his point. And if you listen to Punk too much and hang out around this guy, he's kind of like, my cousin, BC Zach, Like, you start believing in his bullshit. And look, I'm not talking shit about CM Punk fans. I get why you like him. He's cool. He's got X on his tape hands. He's got tattoos. He does good promos. Yeah, he seems like a cool dude. Turns out he's not. Your fucking heroes, especially wrestlers, are terrible people, man. None of them are good.
Absolutely.
None of them.
Absolutely. It is like he did the same shit in WWE, and they punked him hella times on that. Triple H called them out on it. John Cena.
Yeah.
Did that
all those videos are coming back now, and everyone's realizing who Punk is.
Yeah, and there's stories that go back to the indies with Punk, dude. Punk's always been that same way. I've had a chance to meet little Philip, when I worked on the little indie shit, and he's a prick, dude. He's a fucking douchebag. Like, he's not one of those guys that's like, you actually want to hang out with. You kind of want to punch him in the face.
There's always that saying, that even wrestlers say to this day, like, especially after the Ric Flair thing, they're like, never meet your heroes, and never, like, you can meet your heroes and get signatures and autographs. That's fine. Just don't ever hang out with them. Then you realize who they really are. Any celebrity.
And Tony Khan's learning that lesson. I bet he wishes he didn't pay for that cameo.
He's like, what the fuck did I get into collecting actual wrestlers? Dude, he's every wrestler is in it for themselves, dude. That's how the wrestling business works.
And that's why the Bucks started the AEW shiz, because they knew if they had to go anywhere else, they'd have to climb a ladder.
Yep.
They didn't want to climb a ladder. They're like, oh, we're the Bucks. We're famous. Our super kick leg slap party. And it's just like, it gets to the point where it's tiring. Like, you already know they're putting themselves over. They buried fucking FTR.
Yeah.
They fucking, when everybody wanted to see FTR versus the Bucks, and then they got buried, basically. Then it's just like, it's at a point now where, like, the Bucks have forced themselves so much onto people just don't like them anymore.
No. It gets tiring, man. And they're not doing anything new. They're doing the same old shit.
Yeah, every match is telegraphed. Literally, it's the exact same match it was before. There's nothing new and original coming from them, other than growing a porn stash.
So, I thought this whole thing was a work at first, but until I started reading all the reports and all the legality shit, and they won't talk about it because of the legality issues and shit. Now, I don't think they're gonna let Punk go. He's got a torn bicep that they say from the match, but I'm thinking it was from the fight.
I'm thinking he tore his shit throwing a chair.
Yeah. Well, it was Ace Steel reportedly throwing the chair, but
I think Punk threw the chair and Steele's trying to take the rap.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like,
you might be right.
He's like, I'm already in trouble. I said the F word on TV. I got fined $30,000 and suspended already. So technically, he shouldn't even been there. Because after he dropped the F-bomb, his suspension's supposed to kick in. You know what I think what happened is, like, the Bucks kick down the door, they knock really hard, or somehow they get in. And, like, Punk's mad, everyone's mad. Like, what the fuck, And then, Ace Steel's wife, the dog gets all barky, Once, like, he hears the kicks on the door, and the dog gets out of her hand, and the door flies open when the dog's, like, right there barking, going all ape shit, and that makes Punk really mad. And the Bucks aren't seeing the dog. So it's all this miscombobbled shit, and Punk gets really mad. But the Bucks think that Punk is mad at them, so they start fighting. The chairs get thrown, like Kenny Omega gets bit. They walked in when Punk had his pants down. And they're like, "Man, for a guy that talks so much shit, he sure got a little set of balls."
Shit!
And Punk's like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" But like I enjoy the fact that like they both parties, both sides, they got suspended, just stripped of their titles.
That's good.
And we got one of the best Dynamites that we've had in fucking forever.
Do you know why? There was a huge weight lifted off the back room because you don't have to be on someone's side or not. Now we're just boys, dude. I don't care. Like, say if me and you were wrestlers there and we weren't a part of any clique, but you know you're on CM Punk's side or not, or you're on the Elite side or not. Now it doesn't matter. You know, now we can just go out there and wrestle. And also, there's no storylines right now. Everything's brand new again, you know, and guys can go out there and work.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's just, it sucks the way it came about, but it's kind of a much needed thing to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, CM Punk seriously was wearing his stay.
Yeah.
Like, it's like every time he was on TV, he was bitching about somebody in the back dropping his pipe bombs.
Whoa. The first half of the year that he was there, he was super happy, always glad to be here, and it was boring as fuck. Now it's entertaining to me that there's real fucking drama, you know?
Yeah. And I think they're really playing too to the internet crowd, man. Like the Twitters and shit. I think they're finally realizing, let's bring this shit into like our storylines, but then it's backfiring.
Yeah. Also the fact that that it was real is that they worked so hard to do the kayfabe for MJF shit, which that was all fake. Yeah. You know, and a lot of people believed it. They thought he was really going to WWE, you know, and like all this stuff. And they worked hard to fake that. And maybe there was a little bit of truth with contract negotiations with MJF. He wanted more money, you know, because he's a breakout star. And there's probably a little of that. But I don't think there was that much into it that made it a huge work that it is. And then it got overshadowed because whiny Punk face couldn't get what he wanted. But he has.
I think it's another reason why he went into that fucking scrum pissed off, is because the pop MJF got after he just had his epic match with Moxley, where he was battered and bloody, where he probably feels like he gave the performance of his fucking lifetime, and then all of a sudden the music plays and here comes MJF, and the hometown crowd is behind MJF.
Right. Dude, MJF's like one of my favorites right now. Like heel in the business, MJF's fine worker, you know, his matches, sometimes he'll surprise you and sometimes he's just boring, but his mic work is outstanding.
He's like a Miz in a way. Like the Miz is a really good is like a really good mic guy, but MJF's just a better mic guy because he doesn't even break gimmick outside of being on the show.
He doesn't.
Like he tries to portray like that's him.
Dude, even at signings, he'll like take your your exclusive figure of him that's like 1 of 1,000 and he'll smash it. Like, I'm sure that's somewhat fake. I'm sure it's real, but I'm sure they pay the dude for it, you know, and give him something like the handlers do. MJF doesn't, but the handlers give it.
He'll get up and walk away from the autograph booth and just be like, I don't feel like signing no more. I'm done.
That's cool.
You know? And like, even when he goes on TV shows or other podcasts and radio shows, he's in full character.
Yeah.
Like, and I think he's the guy that wrestling needs right now.
He's trying to bring wrestling back to what it needs to be.
We need the showmanship.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, WWE, we got kind of bored of their showmanship because it's kind of the same show.
Well, Vince tried.
Brings like a whole different energy.
Well, Vince McMahon tried when he said like the talent couldn't use their names and shit on Twitter because you see all your favorite wrestlers hanging out at Disneyland together and shit, you know, and it's like, dude, you're just ruining the whole experience. We know wrestling's fake, but we don't want it shoved down our throats that it's fake, you know?
Yeah, like they got rid of kayfabe. They all broke the kayfabe. Everybody's in the fourth wall now, and it's just like it's starting to backfire.
Yeah,
because emotions are running hot. Like people are getting heated, and it's funny because it's CM Punk and Sammy Guevara are the ones heating people up. But I mean, CM Punk goes a step beyond, where it's just like you say you want to put over younger talent, but you're sitting there burying talent every time you open your mouth.
Right. Well, if CM Punk mentions your name, that gets you a little credit, right?
I would assume so, but
you know, it's weird that when CM Punk did his first pipe bomb, that like elevated his career so much, and then he was done. And he was a face for that. He was a good guy for that. Like, people loved him for that. Now he does it this time, basically, and people fucking hate him.
It's because we're in a society now where everybody's overly sensitive.
That's true.
Like, that shit worked during the aggression era, whatever the fuck that era was of punk. And it worked because a lot of people back in the day, we were able to sit around and talk shit about each other. Nobody's feelings got hurt. It was just the way we were, and it was our comedy, our joking. And CM Punk now, like, he brings that old school type, sort of old school way back, and it's just people don't want to deal with it because, oh man, he's being a bully. But CM Punk's just being a douchebag.
Yeah, I don't think CM Punk's a bully at all. I think he is just a douchebag. And I'm pretty sure, like, he's one of those people that he is cancel culture. Like, if he didn't like you, he's not going to talk to you. He's going to pretend like you don't exist unless you rub him the wrong way. Then he's going to, like, say something about you,
Yeah. But, I mean, he shouldn't be like that, especially with guys that have built the company that he's in. Oh, I gave them their first $1 million gate. Nah, I'm pretty sure their first event got $1 million gate, and there was no CM Punk.
Right. Yeah.
It's just he's just one of those guys. I mean,
he acts like he's Bret Hart coming back to wrestle because Bret Hart's his favorite, and everyone always want Bret Hart to come back. Then Bret Hart did in WCW, but Hogan squashed him. Didn't let him do shit. And Bret
Goldberg
Hart
buried him,
and then Goldberg
buried him as well.
Goldberg ended him.
Yeah, he cussed him so bad with a spear, but it's just like
no, it was a kick to the head.
Was it a kick to the head?
Yeah, it was Goldberg's back kick that he did or whatever, almost like a super kick.
That stupid heel kick that he doesn't slap his leg; he just really kicks you in the face.
Yeah, Goldberg's devastating, man.
Yeah, I mean.
Like, what did Bret think? He's going to get this, like, epic 30-minute fucking, ring mat general fucking thing with Goldberg? No, dude.
Yeah, Goldberg's a 3 to 5 minute squash match guy. He's not a fucking marathoner.
And you're going to get injured. You're probably getting injured.
Yeah, because he's not an actual wrestler,
Right.
He's just a big dude. But, I mean, the drama's crazy because now that it seems like it's subsided, we'll see going into Friday in the Rampage how much further it plays out because now it is the time for everybody else to step up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got no Elite. You got no Punk. MJF is back. It's time for everybody to just step their game up. Stop being
But they have
punks.
They have to come up with something to overshadow this so people kind of forget about it and put this on the back burner. I mean, even though this is huge news and it reinvigorates things, it brought a lot of people just to watch Dynamite, But they didn't say anything about it except for stripping the titles, which was a good moment.
It was a good moment. The bracket, though, for the tournament looks stupid.
Yeah,
so you got
doesn't make any
two
sense.
matches, and then those winner of one match goes to face Jericho automatically, and the other one goes to face Moxley. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why not have everybody have proper tournament bracket?
Right. Like everyone has got to earn their keep, not just like put. I mean, I get why Moxley should get a rematch, but there is no rematch. So I get why Moxley would be up there. Jericho, nah, I wouldn't put him up there.
At least they didn't do interim this time. Say, oh, we're going to do an interim champion again.
That's stupid, man. Yeah, that would have been terrible.
But see, now it starts to bring the question, like, what's really going on with Thunder Rosa?
That was all a lie. That saying that she asked for a release, like Malachi Black. Yeah. Malachi Black did get his release. It's confirmed by reports from Thunder Rosa's like family that she did not ask for a release. She's even got a new Supreme Ultimate figure coming out that's all bloodied and shit. And she comes with like some sombrero and all this other crap. Dude, she's not leaving. This is like her first big gig. She's not walking away from this. Yeah,
the only way I could see she'd walk away if Triple H gave her a call and said he was going to offer her more money.
Oh, maybe. But still, like, she had like some heat with like some other wrestlers that she was squashing and did some dirty shit in the ring and like no-sold stuff. But she made amends with that wrestler. I forget who it was. It was someone who nobody cares about.
Somebody's nose.
Yeah.
In Britt Baker's camp or whatever. She broke their nose.
But she apologized for it, and they hung out afterwards. And then they had another match, and it was better.
What I think is going on with Black is like Black was originally one of Hunter's boys.
Yeah, absolutely, and he wants to go back.
Yeah, because he got let go by Vince. Hunter didn't let him go. That's when Vince came back and took over. And so I think Hunter would want him back because he's money, dude. Yeah. He's a great wrestler.
And how do you not know what to do with him, man? Like, even AEW's tried to do stuff with them, but even they kind of failed on that with the whole Buddy Matthews and everything else and their little clique.
Yeah, like the whole Brody. Like, he doesn't need a faction. Like, why? But I guess the faction thing was his idea.
Yeah, he really wants that faction, which is fine. I'd rather him be an independent, evil Undertaker type. You don't need dudes with you to get over. You don't.
I mean, I get that the guys are like Brody King, who not everybody's familiar with, being with them because it gives Brody King some shine, like a star to basically carry him into the light.
Yeah.
And Buddy Matthews, he's an excellent wrestler. But he's also another one of those guys that kind of got cast aside in WWE that nobody really paid attention to, other than the fact that he's banging Rey Mysterio's daughter. Oh, is he? Yeah.
He was in NXT. He was one of the guys that looked like Triple H, sort of, when he first started. They all had
but he could do fucking corkscrew flips and shit.
Well, yeah.
He was in the 205, I think, is what he was in.
I mean, but say what you will about Triple H. Triple H can work a match with anyone and make it fucking great.
Well, that's because Triple H is a fucking professional.
Absolutely, dude. I remember watching it was one of those useless pay-per-views before WrestleMania. It was called Breakdown or something like that, and it was Dean Ambrose versus Triple H, and we all know Triple H is gonna win. But dude, Triple H made you believe that Dean Ambrose had a fucking chance, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually really good. And I don't like Dean Ambrose matches. They're terrible. He does the rope thing.
I don't even like him as Moxley. To me, he's extremely overrated, and he doesn't really do anything innovative or new.
No.
And he's still the same old dirty jeans.
And I don't I get that he's just a badass who doesn't give a shit, and it's more of how he really is in real life. He doesn't collect toys. He doesn't do anything that's not manly. He's a man's man who just doesn't give a fuck. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, dude. Show your real side.
But it's just he's still the dirty jeans guy. He's still dirty jeans.
Well, he thinks he's what's his name from Major League because he comes out to Wild Thing, and I really don't like that.
I don't like it because that's Onita's song from Japan.
Yeah.
And it was also Cactus Jack's song.
That's right.
And I'm I don't agree with him using it because there's nothing wild about him. He's just dirty jeans Ambrose.
And plus, let's face it, it's not that great of a song. Stop paying royalties every time that song is played. I know Tony Khan's got, fucking fuck you money, but still, pick a better song.
Correction, Tony Khan's dad has fuck you money.
Tony Khan has a great allowance, man. I wish I had that allowance.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before his dad pulls the plug on that allowance. Especially with the wrestlers going to lawsuits and court and shit.
Oh, fuck, I know.
He's probably fuck, dude, you're costing me hell of money. And now I got to deal with all this other bullshit, legal action and stuff. And it's just he just wanted to run a wrestling company. And now they brought in CM Punk, and now he's getting lawsuits. There's possibly charges being filed. Somebody got knocked out with a chair.
A wrestler died. I mean, not in the ring or nothing, but, Brody Lee died.
Somebody possibly got bit by a dog or another man.
Right, dude, that's what happens when you try to run you just start off being a major player in the game. You don't work your way up. You just we're major players.
Yeah, he's well, I have the money. We're going to make it look like we're major players. But the thing is, his problem is he spends so much time trying to bury WWE that he didn't get his own house in order.
Yeah. And plus, don't go that WCW Eric Bischoff route. It might work for a little bit, but then in the long run, it ain't going to work.
Yeah, and when you think of Punk, he's never going to make Hulk Hogan money.
No, never.
He's never going to make John Cena money.
Never.
He's never going to make Rock money, dude, because he's a piece of shit.
And people see that now. A lot of fans turned on CM Punk. They're dude, you're not cool.
Yeah, I know. And now I see people taking pictures of toy shells and there's hella Punk chases and Punk figures on the shelf still. Like, nobody fucking wants that guy. Like, it's just like, shit, man. He's the wrong guy for this era. But I mean,
CM Punk.
On a side note, dude, other than the AEW drama, dude, did you see the Rey Mysterio Dominic turn?
I saw like the shit online, like the pictures about Rhea Ripley bringing him back out, and he has hair just like her, or something like that, or was that photoshopped?
He's got hair and it's all slicked back, and he wears all black. And it's funny because we've been wanting this turn for a while, and I'm just waiting for a Dominic like, you know what, Eddie's my poppy, not you.
See, that's why they need to bring back Chavo, and like Chavo goes to the ring to talk to Dominic, but then brings like a foil wrapped burrito from the truck and slaps him with it, like old school WCW days, man. That shit was awesome.
Yeah,
dude, that's such an insult. Eddie Guerrero got slapped with a burrito.
But the plus is, I mean, at least WWE's got their shit in order. AEW, hopefully they can recover from this and get their morale back in their locker room. And I don't mind not seeing the Bucks or Omega or Punk on TV. I don't mind that at all, man. Like,
yeah, if anything, like, I mean, I know the Bucks have fucking attitudes and shit like that, but Omega is usually like, you know, carried in a higher light. So Omega being involved in this kind of like puts a damper on him, like majorly.
I just don't see him being aggressive towards Punk. I see him just being like, you know, Phil, that's just not cool, man.
Right.
And then the Bucks being the ones that are all hyped up and amped up, like, oh, that's bullshit, bro.
That's why I do believe Kenny Omega when he says he was trying to protect the dog. That's why I think something weird happened, like the dog got loose. And, you know, the Bucks are hyphy, CM Punk's hyphy, and, you know, Kenny Omega's like, hey, man, your dog.
Yeah, like, then, what about the dog? You're making Larry mad.
Yeah. Larry!
Think about Larry. Think about Larry.
But I mean, dude, I only bought 2 figures of, like, the Bucks, and I don't like them. You know, the Series 2 ones that they had. But after all that shit happened, I went on Amazon and bought the Bucks 2-pack, you know, that come with the shirts and stuff, so I can recreate that whole scene. And I bought like a little miniature dog to be Larry, and I'm gonna use like Vince McMahon suit body, and then Shane Douglas head to be Ace Steel.
Nice. I mean, I would, if I had a CM Punk figure, I'd be playing on this too, man. Like,
absolutely,
it's too golden not to fucking make fun of.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, I'm glad they're gone. You know, let's see what we're going to get now. You know, like, you got no locker room fucking egos at all no more.
If CM Punk gets fired, and eventually, even if he doesn't get fired from this and he comes back 8 months later from his injury, he's not going to last long. He's just not.
No. No, I just don't see a long line of people wanting to work with him, no matter what the payday is.
So if he can't work for AEW, he's not going to go back to WWE, and it's not on. Even if he wanted to, you think Triple H is going to have that douchebag back? No,
hell no. You know where CM Punk's going to be? He's going to be sitting next to Virgil at FanFest, not signing any autographs because people are like, "Oh, that's CM asshole."
Yeah,
fuck that guy. You know, CM, fuck him.
He'll probably do his own podcast where he just berates everyone.
He'd be like, "Oh, you know, I was making the business a better place. I'm the best. I'm the best in the world."
CM Punk's podcast would be number 1 for like a month, and then it'd go the route of Russo's podcast.
Or Eric Bischoff's 83 weeks. Let's just talk about old WCW instead of fucking current shit.
Dude, 83 weeks is not even entertaining, and I'll tell you why. Eric Bischoff says the same fucking thing about everything. Either he doesn't remember, or he says like, well, that's just the nature of the business, and context is king, and he says the same shit over and over again. And he's like, well, my hands were tied. And it's like, no, dude, like the felons were running the asylum, dude. You would just said okay to fucking everything because Hulk Hogan was there.
Well, especially because he didn't have any. He wasn't his money. Like, he had Ted Turner's endless pocket money. Like, where Ted Turner was like, yeah, man, let's just do it. Sounds like a great idea. Let's pay this guy this much money.
It's just like when Russo took over and then had Bischoff come back, and Bischoff says he just played a character, which is not true. And Russo comes out there on this event and talks a bunch of shit, and then Bischoff shows up. And then Russo says, why don't you walk your punk ass out here? And then Bischoff goes, okay, with his smile. But that's how I figured that back in the Nitro days, back when there were wars, if anyone had an idea, Bischoff would just go, okay.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Hey, brother, how about this? How about I go out there and, I get to beat Sting, or I get to beat the Giant, okay.
That's fine. Just, do you think we'll do better than WWE? Oh, okay, then definitely we could do it.
But then, Hulk's like, hey, that's not going to work for me, brother. Okay.
Shit. But I mean, that drama is hot right now, man, and it's crazy.
I like it, though. I love the drama, though, but I just wish it was more on TV.
Yeah, I wish it was done professionally.
I wish they would address it constantly.
Well, the way everybody's done it is a lot of the older wrestlers are saying they should have tried to do more, couth about it, because it could make money. And they always go back to Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle, and then they talk about Matt Hardy and Edge. There's some real life drama going there, and they turned that shit into money.
They did. And that was, the whole split up and relationship shit. And then they got Matt Hardy to come back secretively. Edge knew, and they were going to have this match, but they brought him in a limo and kept him secret and hid him. And then Matt Hardy came back, and I guess he had made amends with Edge here a little bit, and they knew they just went out there and wrestled.
Yeah, and the reason why is because they were professionals.
Yes.
Professional wrestlers. Let's make some money with this, and then that way we could work it out, turn it into money. But the way they do it now, it's it turned into a backfire of the only money going in exchange is going to be a lawsuit.
Yeah.
And CM Punk probably is going to get fired.
I'm pretty sure CM Punk is talking to his lawyers and trying to sue fucking everyone. And for putting him in this situation, woe is me. But, if they could get all sides to put their shit down and work this into a storyline, where there's no winner, y'all going to have matches. But look, nobody comes out on top of this. We're just telling a story. But, none of these, prima donnas are going to work together again.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. And, the funny thing is, if CM Punk is getting his lawyers, they're probably going to have Colt Cabana in court, too. And Colt Cabana's like, what the fuck did I do? I don't even work there.
Why am I even here? Why is my name constantly brought up?
Yeah, why is he calling my shoot name out? Why is he saying that I share bank accounts with my mom?
Well, because they're in court and they need a court jester.
Yeah, Colt Cabana's going to end up paying the brunt of the lawsuit, because they're going to be like, well, it's your fault, Colt Cabana, all this happened.
Fuck, man. I think we did it for Tex AF.
Yeah. And I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to Patreon. And if you like this wrestle talk or random talk about horror movies, keep subscribing. There's that $3 tier. Tex AF. Texas ass fuck.
Texas ass fuck. Uh-oh, here comes the son of a bitch now. He's got X's on his hands for some reason. I don't know what that must be, some kind of punk thing.
The cult of negativity. The cult of negativity.
You heard of media scrum? Well, this guy eats scrum for breakfast.
I'll ruin your morale. I'll make your locker room go to hell.
But just don't fuck with Larry.
Yeah, don't fuck with Larry. I think Larry bit Omega.
Dude, they should sign Larry. That's how they work around Punk showing up. Because Larry goes everywhere, right?
Yeah. And when CM Punk hurt his foot, he couldn't walk Larry. Poor Larry.
Yeah, you know who's the loser here? Larry loses. That sucks.
You know who the real loser is AJ Lee, because now she's going to have to put up with Punk. stuck at home now being a fucking asshole.
Whining and bitching about this.
Yeah, she's going to be like, that's why I liked you on the TV show, because you weren't home all the time. He gives her the go to sleep.